John is on demand, I'm so explosive, blow your city up. A comic book look in your face and we don't give a fuck. Getting blade up in my shades and pass that bottle, pass that cup. The comic cowboy, giddy up. Driving to the comic shop to let that carnage in. My Buick's red and black, I call her Harley Quinn. Yeah, there ain't no arguing. You can find me at Riverdale Studios for partying. I'm talking industry with Bill and Scott and yes on Skype. We're on another level, let's call it Alpha Flight. And we the baddest, the meanest team and network. Roman status. Fat stack of comics. What up? Oh yes, we rock the same. I yelled assemble and look, the whole crew came. Why you lame?
Who's starting it?
Who's starting it? Alright. Hey comic book lookers, it's a comic book look coming live from the 605, a comic book look summer. Introductions, I'm gonna keep them quick like a Twitter approach. It's your boy @John on Demand. Tom over here, there can be only one with ponytail Highlander status. Sergeant America, of course, no captain needed. Fourth Element's present, K.E.N. is in the cut. What? And of course, Benny, our temp, got fired, so we have Patrick hanging out with us, filling in.
Patrick!
And of course, you guys, the CEO, El Presidente of the LCS.
Main man.
The main man of the hour. Books a movie theater like he doesn't care because we're South Dakota and we're relentless on this comic game.
605?
Dave
I hope your store
is in the
burns
building.
No!
Didn't I tell you? Did you guys know about that? Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear that.
When we booked the theater for Star Wars,
Yeah.
and somebody at the theater told someone who was looking for tickets, and somebody on our Facebook page posted, "I wanted to see the Star Wars movie. I hope your store burns down."
Oh my god!
Did you tell them there were tickets available?
Yeah, come on down, buddy.
Yeah. Or see the next showing. They had 55 showings that night.
Yeah, it went like all night.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You still saw it, okay, along with the rest of the world.
Oh, product placement. Do we guys get a kickback on?
Oh yeah, you know we should by this point. I mean,
We've been rocking them for years.
but guys, look, where are we? What is going on? Almost knocking beers over. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in the element of Rainbow Comics, Sioux Falls, or the best comic shop in Sioux Falls, in the Midwest in general. Obviously, you've seen us here on Free Comic Book Day for the last 5 years. Anytime there's a special event, you see us pop in. But now, and we at SuperCon, we did talk to you quickly. Yeah. But now, we get to sit down in the store with the owner, and we can't be more excited. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Hey, glad to have you guys.
Things were awesome.
We've got John slaving away in the back, putting the new comic books out. It's Tuesday night, so
It's a big day. I mean, tomorrow is the day for comic books.
First time we've ever seen naked shelves. That was very exciting. Nerve-wracking is more like
don't worry. The truck did come in. The comic books are in the back. John's sorting through them.
So how often do you have to worry about delays and stuff like that? Does that ever happen?
It hasn't happened since I've been here.
Nice.
There's been a couple times where we've got them midday Tuesday, which is cutting it a little close for us. But
Sure, but that's okay. That's a half a day for you to get ready. I mean, I remember coming in here years ago where you're here noon on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're the UPS guys at the door.
Yeah.
So or whoever it is. So yeah, that's good to hear. So how do you like it so far? You've been here a year now.
Which
it
was
is
awesome.
almost
It's
almost exactly your July 8th is when we
Yeah. So exactly.
took over.
A year and a week.
I love it. It's the best decision I've ever made. It is so much fun. I just love coming to work. It's a great place to own, to come to and work. Great guys, great customers.
Thank you.
So yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, I would have to say, you've really been able to, inject like the biggest dose of steroids ever into the shop. I mean,
Well, thanks.
I love the shop before. I bragged about it every single day. I mean, this has been my favorite place in the world.
Every single person, almost to a T, who has come in here for the first time says, "Wow." I had no idea it was this big.
Oh,
yeah.
It's like 55. We have 5,500 square foot of retail, 2,000 square foot of warehouse, back storage, back issues. John saw the secrets.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
It's all true.
But
It's all true.
Yeah, no, it's an impressive shop, and props definitely go out to the previous owner, Jay Johnson, his dad who started it. On a very unfortunate, obviously, set of circumstances.
Yeah, terrible.
I've always wanted to own my own business. I was looking for a business to buy. It was just fate.
That's great. And so, are you from Sioux Falls area?
No, I'm not.
So, where are you from?
I'm from Henry.
Gotcha.
Which is,
Yeah.
Patrick probably knows. He's probably been through there many times. So it's a really small town, 215, I think maybe 240 people now. And we didn't have comic book shops in Watertown even. I mean,
Sure.
So growing up, the only comic books I ever really read was Iron Man, which I'm sure. Iron Man and G.I. Joe. And I had to get those mailed to me. I don't even know if it was back in the 80s. I mean, mid-80s. We're talking mid-80s. I don't know if it was from Midtown at that time or if it was from Marvel or where. How I was getting
direct subscription
it was
or
direct
one of those.
with the brown,
Yeah.
the brown paper covers.
Mom always wondered what was coming in the mail.
There was actually a really small grocery store in Henry as well. They had the spinner rack and their older comics, and I think I remember like Fantastic Four. But I would subscribe to Iron Man, G.I. Joe. My brother subscribed to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and so I always read his, and he always read mine as well. But
That's the way to
I
do
had
it.
no idea there were stores like this.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, that's the craziest thing ever. I mean, I remember when I first went into Rainbow, it was where the nickel spot is now. And I was a kid and was blown away. I could not believe this. There was another store that was in the mall that was mostly sports cards, but they still had a big section of comics. So I thought that was the only place in town. I thought that was the coolest place ever. But then going into actual Rainbow, it's mind-blowing to think that there's a place like this. And now with this size, we've all been to comic shops.
Yep.
Everywhere we go to comic shops. That's the thing that I know Mike does, John can do, make
I do
special
it.
trips.
Yeah,
I
got to see what what other comic shops are doing. What can we do
I
here?
love seeing
hey,
that
that's
you're doing
cool.
that too.
Let's do it,
That's so cool.
But are any of them this big? Almost never. I mean, every once in a while, maybe I went to that one. There's been a couple that I've been to, like in Denver, that huge one.
I have not made it to
Mile High.
Denver.
But,
Obviously, Mile High is.
Yeah, but I mean,
the
it
largest.
is. It's a warehouse. It's not. It doesn't have carpet. It's a concrete warehouse that's dusty and dirty and huge, and nothing's organized. And it's the biggest thing I've ever seen. But it's not like this, where it is so huge, so well segmented between all the different items.
I would say maybe the Source up in St. Paul.
Yep.
Is
Yeah.
really big.
Source is big.
However, they're like at least half. It seems gaming.
Oh,
They're-
definitely. I would
So
for sure.
their comic books are not as impressive as their gaming, but it's a big store. But
And there's not near as many of the collectibles at the Source as there is here. And you have such a diversity of sports as well as that. So and as much as some people would hate to admit it, the cards go right into a form of geekdom as well as comic
there
books
is
do.
a good synergy there. I mean, I hate to use that word. Actually, it's cliche. But no, there is definitely some people are into both, but most people are probably either into one or the other. But there's a good balance there, for sure. Supplies, I don't know other stores who have as many supplies with the top loaders, the boxes, and all that.
Oh
we
yeah.
have.
Oh, agreed. And I have friends that buy cards and buy comics, and I have friends that just buy cards, and I have you guys who just buy comics. But it is such a cool thing to have those together in a place, because it is almost like a quarter or a third of this place is all sports memorabilia, as I'm looking right here, and so like. Even though you would think that jocks don't like nerds, those guys, the kind of sports guys that are into this kind of stuff are nerdier, if not as nerdy as us.
Yeah.
It's just they're stat nerds and whatever else nerds, and I think that I obviously respect the heck out of it. I have tons of cards because when I was young, I collected sports cards so much more than I collected comic books, but I love that there is this place that we can go to and
all geek out mutually.
yeah, exactly.
And I think that is the most surprising thing when I first came in here. You see cards, comics, and collectibles, and you don't understand how much is going to be in here. I mean, I've seen more figures on the wall, so that on that week when I'm buying only 2 or 3 comics, that's when I get tempted. I get my figure instead, Or, I come here for a present, so I get a football card for a friend, or, there's always something else that hooks me when I'm here. And then there's just a plethora of the little things, the knickknacks, the tchotchkes. I think plethora is probably the best thing. There's just so much in the store.
If you're into vintage, I mean, we've got the vintage Star Wars, Transformers, G.I. Joe, the glasses. I mean, there's a lot of vintage stuff here as well, but you just don't see at other shops as much.
Oh, for sure, and just a ton of it, and like my brother loves Settlers of Catan, and every time he comes in, he buys another like extension for it. And that's if you go to other places, like Toys R Us isn't going to have that. These other places that you just think of aren't going to have that. Where this isn't, I wouldn't say, a huge gaming store, but you sure got a crap ton of gaming stuff and magic stuff and everything else.
Magic Pokemon, actually.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Yeah, boom.
Yeah. You guys did the Pokemon Go video. It was awesome.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Tom's pretty much already beaten the game.
Yeah,
Caught him.
caught
Are you serious?
350 out of 250. You figure out the math.
350. Okay. So maybe some doubles in your collection.
No, I have maybe 11. But a lot of
But the
people
video
believe
was
me on that
majestic.
video.
Yeah.
I had
Awesome.
my cousin.
Oh yeah.
My cousin even texted me. He's like,
kept
"Oh
a
my
straight
God,
face.
there's a Mewtwo in Sioux Falls. I am going to come to Sioux Falls, man. There's no good Pokemon in Vermilion." I was like, I'm pretty sure they're all the same area.
Yeah, I'm sure the rural areas are struggling probably a little bit.
Yeah, they at least probably don't have enough parks and stuff. But
But
yeah,
where I was going with that is actually Pokemon Go app.
Yeah.
I looked at our sales, which has been out for, at the time I did it, it was been out for 4 days, maybe 5 days. And so I looked at our sales for that 4-day period versus the same 4-day period a year ago, and we're up 300%.
yeah. Oh, I bet it's only going to go. You
I
literally
think
can't
it's
go anywhere
spurring
without
more
talking
interest,
about it.
yeah.
It definitely is. I mean, I had people at work that would never. I get a lot of crap for being a geek or whatever. Never would imagine they play Pokemon.
I've never played the game. I've never played the card
Oh,
game.
dude.
And Ken, right? You've never looked at it and didn't know nothing about it. I know we sell it, but this app is really cool.
It's definitely making people love Pokemon. which
We've
is
actually had a
hilarious.
lot of people catch stuff here, so you guys need to fire it up before you leave.
Might have to.
I ran out of Pokeballs. I need to go to a Pokestop.
There you go.
Something else that I've noticed is the branding. This store, I think, I hear more and more people talk about it. As I talk with people, I go, there's Rainbow down on Minnesota, and like, oh yeah, I know, exactly. I mean, your new signage, the new shirts, the new hats, getting out there, being on
social
Facebook,
media,
the social media is just exploded with you.
Yep.
It-
And we found that to be very effective. We have done a television ad, but the social media advertising has really been very effective for us. And
Because Sioux
people-
Falls nerds are online.
Yeah.
I mean,
and not
that-
only that, but we get a lot. We had a family from Indiana that was going to the Black Hills, and they on Yelp or
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
how
awesome.
they found us, but
They
you
were
know,
watching
they
a
were-
comic book look, duh.
of course. So they were traveling through. They happened to stop by when we filmed our weekly comic book show, which is at 5:15 on Wednesday afternoon. And they sat here and watched the whole thing, and yeah, they really were impressed by the store and loved it.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome, and it is. But it is. If you are driving through the Midwest, I mean, we are in the middle of 2 huge interstates that you could be going a lot of different places. Stop here. You're gonna.
Yeah.
It's worth the stop. If just to look around. I mean, it's a spectacle to come in here, and it's our LCS. Huh? Aren't you jealous? But yeah. So what? So
Tell me about your approach to like how you got all that going, because it's just so, that was one of the coolest things I've noticed, is just you getting online and doing more of that stuff. What's your favorite thing you've done so far? Because you've done some good angles, like Canary's games, booking movie theaters like a boss.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
The
But,
movie,
like, what's your
Star Wars-
favorite?
Oh, that is a good question. The first Star Wars movie that we did, obviously, The Force Awakens was a fun event, a great event, huge movie. It doesn't get
It was like a mini
any
convention.
bigger.
it was huge. And it made it even. I mean, it was
it
a
was
mini
organized
convention,
and
and it
fun
was
and- yeah.
so much cooler, and
Yep.
you felt so inclusive to be a part of the Rainbow Crew.
Yeah.
I love
that
that.
was probably the funnest. Of course, the 501st Legion was there, the Stormtroopers, all those guys.
Yeah, it was so fun.
The Facebook videos, I've loved them. I'm having fun doing them. The Wednesday morning, we come and we do the comic book wall, go through the stack there and go through the wall, go through those comic books, and Wednesday afternoon we do the comic book show. I just love it. It's fun.
Yeah, my daughter's teacher, Mr. Craig, Shout out Mr. Craig, what up? He's just always jamming out, playing his little guitar.
Yep.
Or
And when
little-
Blake's not around,
John spits those bars.
Exactly. Exactly.
John's gonna fill in tomorrow.
I'm gonna try.
He spins those rhymes like a lazy Susan.
Card breaks. You know, we talked about the sports cards.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter really, my 9-year-old daughter really enjoys opening up the packs of sports cards, and so we've been doing that on Facebook Live. We also do a lot of everything we do on Facebook Live. We kind of do on Periscope as well, but if I had to only choose one, I would choose Facebook Live. Yeah.
Just because you think you have more people watching on there?
Yeah, we have more people watching and more pertinent people, I think you might say, because they've liked our Facebook page, they follow us. Periscope is anyone could just be tuning into Periscope and say, oh, what's this about? You know,
Sure.
So we get a lot of people from Russia, Australia.
Which is still really cool.
Yeah, and they can watch us on Facebook too. But
Yeah.
I think when you were talking about your daughter, I think that is also the nice thing that I've seen too. We're all a bunch of old guys here. We enjoy our old comics, our old enjoyables. But I've seen you invest in the next generation, whether if it was new comic book day or free comic book day, whether if it is the selection of comics that you get for them, or I mean, ice cream truck. You know, little things that make the child and all of us want to come here. Tasty Treats, it was amazing when you brought them in, and I think that just continues to make this always seems to be the next step, and I'm always surprised by what you do next.
Yep. So Tasty Trolley Treats, they're going to be here fairly consistently starting this Wednesday, July 13th, right? Today's starting July 13th from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 7 o'clock at night, pretty much every Wednesday, and then not this Friday because she had a conflict, but I think whatever the 22nd or whatever that Friday is, and then pretty consistently throughout the summer as well. Friday they're going to be here all day basically, 11 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock. So stop by for lunch or stop by for an ice cream treat or supper.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, that's just one more thing that, you know, could be cool for kids, but it's pretty cool for 30-year-old dudes too. And grab some beers, Mike. Jeepers creepers. I mean, he wonders why we picked him to get onto the show with us, and
I get why I was no longer the bartender.
He's the gopher and the newbie.
That's because we lost Patrick.
But yeah, I mean, Rainbow's always been great to kids. I mean, I also have a 9-year-old daughter, and I mean, she's grown up here. I mean, there's been countless times that she's came to the thing. I'm buying a giant stack of comics. She'll pick out a Hero Clicks and one of her comics that she wants, and then John will already be there with 2 more comics, just be like, hey, here you go. You know, I mean,
here's another free comic book. I'll be read 5 times.
Yeah. But still, I mean, they don't. I mean, that's just, it puts a glint in her eye when she sees that, and that's, you know, that's John, Brian, that's your whole crew. I've always felt like it's a family here. I've always felt so welcome. And after, you know, I remember when I started collecting comics on a weekly basis was when I had my daughter. So then, you know, that was like the first time that I ever, you know, like had time to go to the comic shop every single Wednesday, figure it out. And I would say within 4 weeks, these guys already know the drill and are recommending all the books that I need to get. And, you know, fueled that addiction that now ruins, you know, my bank account.
Right.
My relationship with my wife.
No complaints here.
It's an investment.
But no, you talked about the staff, and yeah, I mean, we have a great, and that's when I was looking at buying the place, because I mean, like I said, I was into a couple comic books due to where I lived in a small town, so I had been out. I mean, I hadn't read a comic book for years.
Sure.
And like I said, I was looking for businesses to buy. I'm kind of like, first, to be quite honest with you, I walked in here and I was like blown away, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. This is too much. I mean,
Well, it does.
Yeah, it's cool.
It would have to be walk in, and you're walking into print media, which is the thing that everybody talks about. That is, you know, it's print. Are people gonna still print things? You know, it's like, hey, guess what, guys? No, we're not going anywhere. But
Right, exactly.
You know,
but one of the key decisions too is the staff. I mean, because you've got John who's got 30 years, you've got Brian who's got 17 years, you've got John Paul who's only worked here for a couple years, but he's been here since he was this high. And Derek, of course, has been here for 10, 12, 13 years as well. If it wasn't for those guys, we wouldn't obviously be as successful, and I would would probably not have purchased it if they weren't here, and if I wasn't able to keep them on. So I'm really glad that I was able to keep them on.
Oh yeah, us too. We're very happy about that. And you know, I would say that overall, you know, this is like, you know, my favorite place in town. It's like a sanctuary to the geekdom and people who are into comics and stuff like that. And then so for us to have this shop and love it for so long, and then have you come and just like boost it up to being where it is, where now we're taping a show with you, and you're at, you know, after hours coming back. You're obviously putting in the hours to make this place really cool and special, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks. And if it wasn't for customers like you guys and all of our great customers, I wouldn't be able to do it. But it's, I mean, we're up for the year. I don't know how other comic book stores are doing, but we are up considerably compared to last year. Now, is the Marvel relaunch, is the DC Rebirth, some of that?
Yes.
Definitely.
But isn't that, so what? You know, that's the good thing. I mean, more
Right.
people are buying those comics, and that's just on the publishers to continue to push the bar to make people buy more and more. I mean, I don't think that you can say, well, it's just this or just that, because every time they've done something, you get more readers. I mean, DC New 52 captured, you know,
right.
that did the same exact thing for the store.
It pissed the guys off who were collecting issue 900, you know, who, I mean, it
pissed them off enough to buy the 52 first ones again and be mad why they did it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's like I've been here 100 times over, watched a guy be like, can you believe the $5.99 prices? I'm like, yeah, I can't believe it either, but I'm buying it, and I see that you're buying it right now, and we're going to continue to buy it.
You know, and that was with the DC Rebirth titles going back to $2.99. That was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Of course, they're out twice a month, so you're really still spending
Exactly.
you know, $6 a month.
But whatever, that's still cool, and that's still going to be something.
And when you think of page count, you can't get 2 Marvels for that for $6. So,
And speaking of that, I think we're seeing a lot of people we have the pull boxes that you saw in the back, the pull accounts, you know, subscribers who can't come here every Wednesday or don't want to pull their own, we set them aside for them. We're seeing a lot of people switch over to DC with the Rebirth. A lot of Marvel guys are switching. They're not totally switching, but they're getting more Rebirth titles.
And that's, I think we will always see these trends of, you know, whoever's doing better or doing more innovative things, you're going to be pulling people over, and then you're going to be pulling people over, and hopefully Image is growing, and, you know, they're still doing things at IDW or different things, and hopefully, you know, you can just get more and more people reading, and that's the goal, is to have comics. Well, I mean, they already are, you know, obviously completely mainstream media now, and everywhere we look, so let's start getting people to read these as well as watch them.
And obviously comic books have to have a great story, good art, or great story. You know, sometimes a great story can cover not so good art, and vice versa. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason they're making all these comic book movies. There's a reason they're turning all these comic books into TV shows, because they're good stories.
Yeah, and what we've talked about on a comic book look always is storytelling. It breaks down to storytelling. We like comic books, but we only like comic books because that's our favorite storytelling medium, because it's budget, you know, endless budgets on whatever you wanted to show, whatever you wanted to do. It's only your imagination that can't. Whereas in a book is really cool, it can describe it to you, but never like the visual medium that comics can. And a movie's really cool, but it tells you exactly what's going. There's no pacing that you get to do yourself or different things. Yeah. And all those things are great, but the best part about comics is the storytelling. So, you know, like, anybody can get down to that. So I've always talked to people who are like, I'm not into comic books, you know, no way. And then it's like, well, tell me your favorite movie and your favorite TV show and your favorite book, and then I'll give you a comic book that you're going to like. I can always do that, you know, to be like, okay, you like this movie, then you read Scott Pilgrim. You're not going to read Iron Man. You need to read something different, you know. But
well, just this weekend, I came in to pick up one comic, and of course my wife goes, well, do they have Star Trek? And I said, well, yeah, I hear, and I show her them, and so she's like, well, I like these 5. So, yeah, we end up getting 6 on the Saturday because we needed a couple extra from what we got.
It's truly an American art form. I mean, it's you get to hold it in your hand, touch it, feel it. You know, digital comics, obviously I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
for various reasons.
Screw them.
But there's something about holding that comic book and having the art
Yeah,
there.
and being able
There's
to...
a reason that people don't go to art museums on their computer. They
Yeah.
go to see it in person, and they, you know.
And there's a reason if you forget your username and password, you can still read your comic book. You know?
Dave, you totally brought up the Hydro topics. Mike and I will never agree on this, but
I think there is a nice mixed medium of digital and
I will
physical.
never let the internet tell me I can't read a comic when I want to read
No,
it.
and I understand that, and I would
That's the
definitely
bottom
say that.
line.
You know what might be interesting
Yeah.
is VR. I mean, could they do like a VR comic book? How cool would that be?
Somebody will come up with that.
I know that they've sampled in some of them, but none of them have been very good. So,
If you did like one of those webcomic base where it was like endless scrolling
Yeah.
or something, maybe. Because it'd have to be endless scrolling, really. Like just like, I don't know.
How's that go, Tom?
Be like,
He's dabbing,
Dabbing.
painting, or whatever.
So, Dave, stepping out of the owner's shoes for a second, as a reader, what makes a good comic book for you?
Well, I do like the art. The art has to be good, or I'm not going to read it. But good writing, it's tough. I mean,
so now I
the
get,
story, obviously, and good writing. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say. So, are there like, can you pull from like anything? Do you currently read comics now that you own the place, and are you?
Yes.
So then, is there like a comic that you draw to that we could kind
I've
of
been
get
reading.
that answer?
I've been reading more kind of image and more independent type stuff. Quite honestly, Huck has probably been my favorite comic book. I like
haven't read it.
I like Monstrous. So image.
Yep.
Renato Jones, the 1%. Although
Oh.
I didn't, 3 wasn't as good in my opinion. It was just kind of like too much. So I've
Awesome.
actually probably been reading more independent comics. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that touches my heart. That's what I read too. You know, definitely.
But with the relaunch of Batman and Superman, I think those are ones I'm going to continue to read on an ongoing basis. Are the Batman and Superman.
and as a comic shop owner, yeah, dude, you have to.
Yeah.
You really do need to be at least reading Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
They are the two
Yeah.
biggest
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So it'll be interesting to see where Gotham Girl goes.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm always wondering, like, who could those people be? And
Right.
hopefully it's a good reveal down the road, if it's a reveal at all, or if it's truly new characters, which I highly doubt, and I hope not. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
So, John, what's your favorite memory of Rainbow Comics?
Of Rainbow Comics? Oh boy, I think it was when I basically, so Dave, just a little background on our show. Tom and I used to work together at a prominent financial institution in town. And we sat over the wall from one another and would fax comics back and forth and make the sound effect or whatever.
It's probably the same prominent financial institution that I financed. WF?
Yes. That's the one.
More like WTF. Anyways, it was, Tom got me back into comics. I don't even remember how we started talking or anything, but we just did. And we started arguing about our comics. Like, I would vouch for the Dark Avengers that Marvel was doing in 2008 or whatever. And then that's what spawned our show, is how funny would it be to capture our fighting on camera and put it online because it was hilarious. And so we did that, and it took off from there, and that's how we started our show. But my favorite memories were some of those first few times just coming in, like, I am a complete newbie. I am at your guys' whim and mercy. John and Brian were like my lighthouses for guiding me. Every time I do a Halloween costume, I come in and do a ton of research. So Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, I came in and bought pertinent literature to learn more about the character I was dressing up as. And I would do it months before Halloween because I'm a planner. So they're always there for me to help me do my research. So every time I come in saying I'm doing research, John gets that grin on his face. And,
Speaking of Halloween, let's talk about Halloween Comic Fest.
Are we going to do it?
Real quick. We've done it.
And we're going to rock it out.
We're going to
this
do it bigger. We do everything bigger.
yeah.
That's right. That's agreed.
But we're starting to do things bigger. But yeah, we did do Halloween Comic Fest last year.
Okay.
It's not, and it will never be Free Comic Book Day, but it's pretty.
Still,
Oh, it's pretty
exciting,
cool.
though.
Yeah, there's at least
It's so
5 or
awesome.
6 titles
Yeah.
that are free that day.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
And
That's going to be awesome.
major discounts.
Yeah. Our 2 biggest days are obviously Black Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and then Free Comic Book Day.
Both those days are so money.
Yeah. And we're 50%. That's 50% off most back issues, trade paperbacks, 25% off board games. Yeah, we're not making as much money, but we're selling them. So
It's going to be awesome.
But you got to clear house sometime.
we do
though.
have to clear house. Yeah.
Fight with my wife every Black Friday because we're out of town. I said that was one of my chances. So, of course, that free comic book day, I'm definitely here, loading up my arms.
Yeah, we always do the 2-trip formula. Like the first trip,
Yeah.
I came all dressed up, and then
Yeah.
the second trip, I came and did my shopping. Got to be strategic, right?
Yeah.
So Dave, we're huge on the comic book look exclusives, like the fact that you were in Star Wars, right? So every
Yeah.
time we talk to you, you give us a spoiler. So what's a spoiler for what's coming up next
Ooh.
for the 60 Fizzle?
Well, we're gonna probably be doing the Rogue One.
Okay.
We're probably gonna try to do the same thing for Rogue One. Of course, in December of 2017, we're gonna do the same thing for Star Wars.
Does Rogue One come out in December?
Yep.
well?
Yes,
December
it
this
does.
year.
It's
Yeah.
my
So
birthday
every
month,
December
this is
Star
great.
Wars
For
now?
the next
Pretty
4
much,
years.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for the next 4 years. Yeah.
That's gonna be weird when Star Wars is just bigger than Christmas during December for the rest of our lives. Christmas will be not known as anything, and people will just be
It's
celebrating
Life Day.
Star Wars.
Star Wars Day.
Yeah, Life Day from Life Day from the Christmas special, the Ewoks.
I need to
That was
watch
the
that.
worst
Or,
movie
I mean,
ever.
not Ewoks, but
Yeah.
Wookiees.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer if it's not broke, don't fix it. So we're not gonna change a lot. We're not,
It was the coolest experience ever, though. Seriously, like I just thought it was a well-organized event, and everyone was in good spirits. And I was expecting just complete chaos and people fighting over seats. None of that. Everyone was super chill. You guys maintained that cool, calm culture.
Yep.
And of course, you revealed that you were in the movie, which was awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's we're looking forward to it, and we love these events. We're looking forward to
Killing
Joke.
Killing
Coming
Joke's
up, we
next.
got our
Yep.
tickets,
Yep.
so that's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Oh
July
man.
25th.
Are you gonna do some D Strange? Do you think Doctor Strange in the fall?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I kind of wish we would have did Suicide Squad, and we might still, but this is kind of a short turnaround to sell that many tickets.
Yeah.
We'll probably do something for Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange isn't gonna be as big. I don't know.
It's not gonna be.
That's
No,
what people
wait,
were
it's
saying
not
for Guardians of the Galaxy.
I
too.
mean,
Look
the
what
Killing
happened
Joke,
with that.
it's like a super specialized. Oh, that's true.
If you
Yes,
can
Ken, you're
convince
right.
people to buy tickets to watch a talking raccoon, I think you can convince.
Yeah,
People
the
to buy
city
tickets
is
better
like
than- better
on
than Cumberbatch doing
fractions
that.
of light and stuff. It's crazy.
It'll be interesting to see what the early buzz is on Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
If you've heard something, let me know.
Between
I've
the
heard.
actors that are involved in it alone, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
Just because Cumberbatch.
is a perfect rendition.
Exactly.
But it's also strange if you guys have ever read Doctor Strange comics.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys; they are dense, mystic.
They're kind
And
of
it's
above my.
and it's all about the sources supreme, who's holding it at this time, how did it get it. It's very weird stuff. So I mean,
But the new run, I am definitely loving the new run.
I'm not reading the new run.
I was reading.
so
I
don't
probably
know.
read the first few issues and I kind of dropped off.
Yeah. But I think, the storyline on it was easy to get into, follow.
Yeah, I
it was
agree.
very poppy art. It was very nice.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend that one.
That was my
Yeah.
takeaway. It was really easy to
Yeah.
read. And the first few issues.
Oh
I
man,
read.
that's exactly what they need. That'll do
Yeah.
good for the movie then. For
and they've
sure.
also got Sorcerers Supreme coming
Yeah.
out in October to coincide with the movie. So
That's cool.
previous Sorcerer Supreme is being pulled out of their timeline
Oh.
into the timeline of Doctor Strange to fight a greater evil. It's going to be an ongoing, so that's looking pretty interesting as well.
Yeah.
Look at
Are we
Pat-
looking at
Patrick
Tom-
is on top of it, Tom. Look
Yeah.
at
Pat
that.
knows
Benny
this.
never did this.
yeah, that's why Ben.
Benny is our
fired.
fictitious temp that runs the cameras.
Don't
and
say
we-
he's fictitious. They don't know.
Just because he's never here. He always drops the ball.
Skyler wasn't here for.
Yeah.
Skyler, shut up.
The buzz on Ghostbusters. Is
Oh, there you go.
The latest buzz is positive.
Yeah,
everyone who's seen. it
Everybody's
loves it.
switching around. Everybody's switching around.
Do you think it's going to be good?
My girls are.
I was hesitant.
stoked.
I want to wait until.
I can't wait for it. I'm
I think
gonna.
it's gonna be funny.
It's gonna be fine.
It's the exact same thing with DC, or the new DC launch. Everybody was skeptical seeing the launch tiles and what was going on, and as they've come out, people have been blown out of their socks. And now
Major
this-
difference, Batman and Superman aren't women.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I said it before earlier today. Iron Man has always been a female, so it works out. It just works out. It's one of those things. But with some of these with some of the releases coming out, they may it looks like it's the same response. Like, I don't know if I like this. This is really weird. And then when the actual comic comes out, I think a lot of reactions are going to change.
Yeah. No, and I think that'll be the same with Ghostbusters. I mean, that, like you said, it's already turning around. I mean, first of all, I still watch Saturday Night Live. I'm really excited. All those girls are from Saturday Night Live at one time, and that's like my
all
favorite show. They're
hilarious.
all so good. And so yeah, I mean, and in my house we watch Ghostbusters a billion times. We've seen every single one of my kids has seen it 100 times. We're excited to have another one. They're gonna be kids. When you're a kid, you don't know the difference between a bad movie and a good movie. It's just a movie, and you like going to them. So I mean, I'm excited for it for sure. You know, hopefully, I guess, you know, it's not too raunchy or anything. But
One big spoiler alert.
Oh,
is,
boy.
and I'm not going to give it all away
Okay.
because I haven't decided for sure yet exactly where. But I do want to open a second store, a second Rainbow. I mean, we're not going to be able to duplicate this, obviously, but so it will be on
for a few
smaller-
years,
yeah,
not
right.
duplicate
Give us
this for a
time.
few years.
Give
I
us
mean.
time. But I would like to open up a second door. So, public, if your town is starving
Yep.
for a comic book store,
Yep.
If you know
Master
45 or more people that drive over an hour or two away to get comics, please email us.
Send us your application.
No, yeah, well, that's awesome.
exciting,
And I mean, if you do it smartly, you put in the same energy that's going into this. I couldn't imagine anything not working out. I feel like you are building a real brand here. The new logo is so cool. I mean,
my wife did that, designed that, by the way.
she, wow.
Nice.
I mean, she did a great job. She really did. That's awesome.
You know, and to be honest with you, when I went home and I'm like, hey, you know, we're looking at businesses to buy. What do you think about this?
Oh yeah, I bet that went over
No,
well.
I that's what I was expecting. But she did not poo-poo it, and she like more and more she thought about it. Yeah, cool.
That's
and
awesome.
So yeah,
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, did
Yeah.
the Iron Man movies make $2 billion? Yeah. You know what? That wouldn't be such a bad idea. I think there's something with these comics. No, that's
You know
so
what's
cool, man.
awesome too about your family is how present they are in the shop. Like you and the missus are rocking free comic book day, tag team in that second register. You're just like next, you know, and just sales were probably like 20 billion or whatever.
my 13-year-old daughter's
That's
not
crazy.
quite into it because she's kind of at that age, you know.
Oh yeah, she's too
But
cool.
my
you know?
9-year-old loves it. The 3-year-old loves it.
Nice.
My 9-year-old, you know, she's doing box breaks with us. She's every week
Oh,
she's
you
reading
said that's
2
so
to 3
cool.
comics. Actually, she's reading probably more like 5 on most weeks and recommending 2 or 3.
How cool.
So
Yeah,
That's
I mean
awesome.
that's so awesome. Heck yeah. Well, let's close this episode down. It's long enough, guys. So I mean, we're in Rainbow. Well, I guess we're gonna take you through a quick tour after this, but let's just close it down for the episode. So, John and Ken, you want to shut us down or what?
Oh, okay. All right. So you guys, as always, 605, we're rocking it, bringing the heat. It's Comic Book Look Summer. Ugh, so fresh in our nerd threads. Rainbow Comics. Shout out to Dave for joining us.
Thanks,
Shout
Dave.
out to Pat for being real.
Thanks, Pat.
I'm not going to call you Pat ever again. I'm so sorry. Patrick. Yeah, that's just Pat
Patrick.
peeve. Don't ever call him Pat. All right. Anyways, you guys
That's
know the
what you
drill
do
as
to a
always.
dog.
Keep it classy, keep it sassy, keep it comics for sure, man.
all right.